Good evening. We'll call this meeting to order, Monday, June 26th, Select Board meeting. We'll start with the Pledge of Allegiance. Okay. Approval of agenda. I have an RSU 21 Board of Directors update. Real quick. Anybody else got anything for committee and board reports? Need a motion to accept as amended? Motion by Jason, seconded by Phil. All those in favor? None opposed. Motion carries. Next item on the agenda is public forum. This is where we take public comment on any non-agenda item. Anybody from the public interested in making a comment? Please state your name. Yeah, just push it. There it says push. There we go.
Good evening, members of the Select Board. I'm Chip Bassett of 335 River Road in Arundel. As you all know, on Tuesday, June 13th, there was an election for an RSU 21 director for a 3-year term. There were 374 valid ballots for the 2 candidates whose names were printed on the ballots. 189 for Kirsten Shapiro, 185 for Charles Bassett, myself. I lost by 4 votes, which is just over 1%. Under Maine law, Title 21A, 601, ballot preparation, paragraph 2, content, ballots, quote, must contain the name of each candidate arranged alphabetically with last name first. On Arundel ballots for June 13th, Shapiro was listed first before Bassett. What if a few voters didn't know anything about the candidates, and when they came in to vote, they simply picked the first name on the ballot? It's not an unlikely scenario. If the ballots had been printed correctly, and there were just 3 people who did that, picked the first name, the result would have been 186 to 188, with me as the winner. 3 votes is only 0.8% of the people who voted. It's a mighty small difference. Now, I realize that the first letter of a person's last name is random, but it is also the law in Maine. There are provisions in Maine election statutes to amend ballots in an emergency, which, quote, may exist if the ballots contain an error. Arundel's ballots did contain an error. The clerk knew that there was an error, said so on the day of the recount last Wednesday, but chose not to correct that error. There was another irregularity with the ballots cast on June 13th relating to the envelopes for absentee ballots. 6 of the envelopes for absentee ballots did not have any date or time stamp. They're supposed to. It's required by law. The deputy clerk, I think that's Simone's title, said that they came in on election day, but was unable to produce the log of ballot receipt on the day of the recount. Now, it's not the voters' fault that those envelopes didn't have a date and time stamp. It's the fault of the Arundel election officials. Those ballots should not have been counted unless they were logged in correctly. They were not. Who did those 6 people vote for? I don't know. Neither do you. We will never know. And then there's a relatively minor detail. I went in to vote early in person. I believe I was the first person to do so because I wanted to know what to tell voters, what the process was. I was surprised when the clerk required me to produce my driver's license before she would give me a ballot. This is not required by law. Absentee ballots and early ballots in person count as absentee ballots can be requested by phone or electronically. Polling officials in past elections have refused to look at my driver's license when I tried to show it to them. And the clerk certainly knew who I was. After all, I went to her to obtain the petition to get on the ballot. I returned the petition to her with the signatures on it to get on the ballot. In conclusion, elections matter. They have consequences for all of us as taxpayers and as citizens. Voters need to have faith that elections are carried out confidently and in accordance with all applicable laws and regulations. That did not happen here in Arundel on June 13th, 2023. The citizens of Arundel deserve better than this.
Thank you, Chip.
Will respectfully ask when we are item on the agenda.
What's that, Chip?
You added
I added under committee and board reports. Okay. Any other comments from anyone from the board for the public? Any other public comments? Okay. Moving on to approve the minutes of the June 12th, 2023 meeting. Motion by Jason. Seconded by Phil. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Motion carries. Committee and board reports. Excuse me. The only thing that I have to let the board know is I attended the swearing in ceremony today. That was at 5:15 of the Arundel, Kennebunk and Kennebunkport members. And I stuck around just for the public comment, and then I left the meeting. They were having their regular board meeting tonight. They were giving out awards. They were recognizing the members that are not reterming. But I didn't stick around for some of that. So it just that went over pretty well. So that's all I've got on that.
Have a discussion on Chip's issue, talk about our issue now.
We should wait. I was gonna bring it up at the end, but we can, yep. Jesus, excuse me, I'm sorry. All right, manager's report. You've got a warrant for us to sign.
Yes, I'll be under business.
Sorry, I'm sorry,
It's
I'm
okay.
moving ahead. Yeah.
Let me just go over what update on 159 Proctor Road. As you know, our order provides until tomorrow for the folks that are living there to be vacated, and then Wednesday for us to begin the process of identifying the three aspects that I've related to before, what we're going to have to do with the property. We recently received a telephone call from Baldwin Home Services, and what they are is a company who homeowners contact and can sell their property to. They cover all closing costs, and they'll provide a price that they think the property's worth. The Lambs contacted Baldwin Home Services about buying their property. And I had a conversation with Kevin Gilbrandt, who is the one of the heads to the company, indicated to him, based on the information or the history of what we have, and he provided to me what they're going to do if in fact they are successful in obtaining the property. At this date, I have not heard back from Mr. Gilbrandt, other than I reached out to him today. He indicated that they were still trying to conclude their business, but that the Lambs had also reached out to another company to provide them a cost for their property. So I don't know if they're in a competition to sell their property to one of these home services folks. I guess essentially they're just property flippers. They come in, clean the property, do whatever they have to do to make it compliant, and then move on. So that's all I know at this point. Not sure if the Lambs are going to be able to sell it prior to us doing any active role there, but that's where we are at this point.
But certainly would be to our advantage, though, wouldn't it?
It certainly would, because and we sort of indicated, both Jim and I spoke with Mr. Gilbrandt and his partner on the phone, and indicated to them that, you know, the things that we know that need to be identified. They were there a month ago and walked into the property and viewed the property. So they certainly know what they're up against. Their only concern was that if they could get once it's cleaned and all the debris inside and out is removed, if they could get a structural engineer to take a look at the building and give them an opinion whether or not it can remain. They would prefer the building to remain and then completely gut it and remodel it, is what they would like to do. But that's as far as we got with the conversation. And I was hopeful that I would come in this morning and have an email that the thing had closed and they were ready to roll, but that hasn't
That
happened
would
yet.
have to come prior to us initiating anything, right? I mean, if we decide that we're gonna go in there and clean it
Well,
all up.
Well, yeah, that's why I'd like to see, you know, if they've got something in the books before
Right.
before we move in. So, and I'm not sure, you know, what position that puts us in, say, that we go in and we begin the process of cleaning, and then the Lambs go ahead and sell that property after we've started initiating. Obviously, we'd have to put liens on the property as soon as possible in order to secure whatever return on any cost that we have on the property, but we'll see how that plays out.
When is our deadline when is the date that we set officially up?
27th, which is tomorrow, they need to be out. The 28th is when we begin process of going on and identifying what we need to do. I already have one estimate for cleaning the inside of the building. So then we can make an assessment as to what hazardous asbestos needs to be removed prior to going out to bid to have the building torn down. So ours is a 3-prong attack. And we would first clean it.
We already have town funds tied up in this project as we stand, so
That is correct. Not
I
only,
would think it would be advantageous to us to stick to our timeline so that we can put liens on it. If we just continue to wait and put off this best case scenario, then and this could go on for months more and nothing be done and the town's money is still spent.
so it would be your opinion to, as soon as we can get started. And then if we incur the cost, as well as we already have the cost for the dumpsters. We also have the cost for attorney's fees to this date that we can lump in, and then just file a lien on that
Correct.
and then keep moving forward.
And if they decide to buy the property, at least we have recourse to get our funds back or a portion of our funds back.
Think we have the file a lien after they sold, like any tax. takes priority.
It doesn't have to be done prior to.
I mean, I disagree with your suggestion, put it out there now. I assume you explain to these folks what they're gonna take on in addition to what they're taking on.
In detail.
I'm sure.
So I just would let you know where we are on this, almost a year saga of trying to get this done, so. Then I don't think I need anything at this point. I'm not quite sure I do. We'll see. I think then Jim and I can have a real earnest discussion with, if they're the new property owners, as to what they're going to do and get the plan set up. But they were very confident that they could do what they want to do in a short amount of time. And that would be to clean the entire property, get everything moved out, get contractors in there to begin dismantling what they got to do, and getting the property back into snuff. So, but I haven't met them personally. This is only on the phone. You know how that goes. What's that? They were there the beginning of the month, so almost a month ago. Yes. And according to Mr. Gillibrand this morning, the Lambs indicated that they also contacted another company to give them a price for it as well. So we'll see how it all plays out.
How soon can we file a lien?
I'm not sure how, what the lien process is. I think we have to probably do it almost immediately.
Yeah, we definitely want to protect our interest.
Even if we have to file several liens, at least what we have up till now.
Okay.
Anything else on that? No? Okay, transfer station.
Yeah, I didn't want anybody to think that I was, doing a bunch of stuff, but what we're trying to do now is sort of get ourselves in position that as of July 1, folks are going to be able to get rid of their municipal solid waste and their recyclables by just tossing it into the dumpsters. Presently, the existing transfer station stickers will have to suffice to determine our residencies or the people that are residents here that can dump. I went ahead today and finished the order to order new stickers. The new stickers will have a different color transfer station on them, as well as they will have a location on them to put the registration of the vehicle that will be going. So what will have to occur is that folks will come in and we'll do it on a continuous basis as they come in to register cars, and they're around the residents. We'll ask them if they need a dump sticker. If they do, we'll issue a dump sticker to them, tell them they need to put it on their car and move on through the process. We've also determined that if they are, maybe they rent property and do not, but come in to register their car. And so if they rent property and register their car, then also we'll give them a sticker. We will not give stickers to only property that has land only. So if a property owner only has land, they will not be able to be issued a sticker to go to the dump, because obviously there's nothing there for them to go to. In terms of our out-of-state residents who also own property here, they just need to come in, identify that they are taxpayers and what property they have, and then indicate to us what car that's going on, and we'll issue them a sticker. So I think we sort of got that. The staff is prepared to do that, keep a list of all the stickers that are issued. We reached out to the town of Kennebunkport, and we're going to borrow their signboard. And so they need it for the next several days. But once we get it, we're going to set it up there. So residents who come in can see that new stickers are now required. They need to go to the municipal offices to secure their sticker. We'll advertise that obviously on the website, so people can do that and get that information out. So it'll be I think, several months process before everybody gets a new sticker. Then it will be our intent every fiscal year to issue new stickers. So next year we'll order them obviously a little earlier than we did this year, because I was uncertain as to what was going to be happening with that. And then we'll just issue them as people come in to register, they can get their new stickers and so on and so forth. So I think that's it. I've also asked Casella to update whatever cost is associated with all the other items, electronic items, any bulky items, anything else to get that done. Chris McHale, who handles that for Casella now, is on vacation this week, and he said he'd get back to me when he gets off vacation so we can sit down and iron out that that process. But I'm not quite sure how Casella is going to attack that up there because they still don't take cash. So folks who are getting rid of bulky items will have to be assessed to what they're getting rid of, and then there'll be a price associated with that they'll have to pay probably by check. The other thing that I want to do is people who have punch cards. Hopefully those folks can use those punch cards, and I'll talk with Casella about that, so they can use them to get rid of those electronic or bulky items. So say you've got a $20 punch card and it costs you $10 to get rid of a TV, then they'll just punch it. And so folks can use that they've already incurred that cost. So we're trying to find ways to do that. And ultimately, if we get to a point where folks don't use it, then we'll have to try to find a way that we can reimburse them for that cost at some point in the future. So that's where we are right now.
I got a couple of comments. Anybody from the board got some comments?
Yeah, I do, but
Go ahead.
two things. Can you express to Chris that we had some concern from the public in regards to the sticker checking? So if they're not spending a lot of energy weighing bags and punching cards, can you at least let Chris know that attention should be put towards making sure the stickers are on the vehicles?
Yeah, I've heard that too, Jason. A couple folks, and yes, unfortunately, one of the local employees that they had is not working there any longer, so they have more part-time employees than we've had in the past that are working there. So hopefully this makes it easier for them. But you're right, that the stickers need to be verified.
Yeah.
And I think if somebody comes in without a sticker, without a blue one, they can't dump. Just can't. And if they have a new one, then obviously they can dump, but they have to be attached to the vehicle that you're bringing. That's another issue that we have from time to time here, is that folks want to refuse to put the stickers on their cars because they come up with a technicality that says, motor vehicle says you can't put anything on the windshield, so on and so forth. But every municipality that I know of that requires stickers puts the stickers on the windshield. So we're not going to, you're just going to have to do it. If you want to use a transfer station, you need to put the sticker on the car. So
I think that, we need to have some sort of a grace period there, and then something needs to be posted at the station that says, hey, as of August 1st, you don't have a sticker, you can't dump. I think in that, put it on the website, make sure that we get that word out.
right. Yeah, right now you would have to have one of our blue stickers in order to go. And then after that, like you say, a grace period, I'm thinking a couple months. So if we start in July, it'd be August, maybe September sometime, that we do all the red stickers. They're going to be red, I think red and black this time, should be available so folks can get their stickers and go up there.
I need to stop and get my sticker. I don't have a sticker.
vetting? I never seen it.
We,
So there is a list.
we have a list, we have a brochure that Casella developed. That was on the website for some time. I'm not sure if it's here. They probably don't. I'm not quite sure. Yeah,
Let people know where we are. Yeah.
right. I think so too, yeah.
Right.
So at least they're aware of that. The thing with bulky items, I think, I think in, Kennebunk, they have a facility there that takes them no matter where you're from. So folks have an option to going there as well. And from what I gathered, we were getting an abundance of people coming this way because what they were charging there was far more than what we were charging here. So we'll certainly have that conversation, but with the sticker, that at least we know it's a Arundel resident.
Yeah, I think, whatever signage we need to put, we've talked about this list. I've asked you before for that list because somebody asked me and I.
Right.
But we need to make sure that it's there. We need to put it on the website and we need, to Tom's point, need to make sure that, check only, absolutely no cash. And I want to make sure that
Right.
we communicate that and, as soon as possible. I know people just come in and they don't really look for signs and stuff there, but we can put a billboard or something there, or I don't know, but something as you drive up with some of this information.
Well, maybe we can keep that signboard from Kennebunk Port for a little longer time. So once we get through the issuing of the stickers, maybe we can put something up there,
Right.
bulky items, see the attendant and have some brochures made up or cost associated so they can hand them out. So people have a good idea as to what it is.
Velma, you had something?
I had a comment, yes. When.
Mike?
Sorry. When someone comes into the town office to get their sticker for their vehicle, could we have a brochure that we handed them right there that shows no cash, bulky items, the items and the costs?
Good idea.
Good point. And we'll see if we can work on that.
Yep.
I'll talk with Chris when he gets back from
idea.
vacation and we'll see what we can do.
So just to be clear, I'm a renter and I'm renting, a place in town. I need to get my sticker from my landlord, or do I go to town hall to get a sticker?
You can come to the town hall and get a sticker. If your car is registered here, then we'll give you a sticker. If you come in and say you're a new renter and your car isn't registered here, you need to provide us a lease agreement or something with the property owner, verifying that you are indeed there.
And I know that this isn't really associated with the transfer station, but can we make sure that when we do have hazardous waste day this year, it's not first day of hunting season? Had some complaints last year that people couldn't go to that because it was the first day of hunting season or residents only hunting season, I think is what it was. So
I
keep
think
that in
you're
mind when
correct.
you
I think it was
schedule
residents only, and that was the second year in a row that's happened.
Yeah.
So if I reach out early, maybe I can get on the list a little earlier.
Okay, thank you, sir. Anything else? All right, moving on to new business. Now we're gonna sign the AP warrants.
Right, we had an AP warrant from your last business meeting that Dan was the only one that signed it. You officially agreed to it and voted for it, but Dan was the only one who put his signature to it. And I don't think Velma was here, so if I can get the other three gentlemen to put their name on it. More of a technicality than anything else. I mean, you approved it. We at least got one signature on it, but majority of the board would be appreciated. I think so. Even with the vote, I think you should have the signatures there.
I thought the vote was that only one signature was required for payroll, but the other one was a majority.
Okay, next item is review of food truck applications.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, you have two food truck applications for review tonight. Both are for events at Vinegar Hill. As you know, Vinegar Hill does have approval for location of food trucks on site as part of their approval process. that they went through the planning board. That does negate them from coming to this board to get in, to fill out an application and apply and pay the fee associated with being there. So we have one from Wyman's B Wild Mobile. They're going to be there on July 2nd from 2 to 6 p.m. All their paperwork has been submitted, been reviewed by staff, and seeks an approval by the board to issue the permit to them.
Are they all up to date on everything that they needed to do there, with the exception of the stage, which I don't think they're using, but has everything else been done? Septic system, all of that?
I don't believe they've done anything with the septic yet. And as long as they continue to be inside, their septic system meets the requirements that they presently have. So in terms of any indoor activities, they're good to go.
Yeah, okay.
And as far as I know, at this point, that's all they're having is indoor activities.
Yeah, I looked at their summer schedule, and it didn't look like anything was outside, but. Okay.
Now, this application here, if you do approve it, I would seek a motion and a second to approve pending the payment of the fee. They have a $20 fee to pay. They have not paid it yet. They contacted us today and said that they would be in tomorrow to pay the fee. So
Which one?
this is Wyman's B Wild Mobile. Yes, sir.
Second that.
Motion by Jason, seconded by Velma. Any other discussion? All those in favor? Any opposed? One abstain. You're one of your clients?
It's that.
Well, usually it's a good idea to say why we abstain.
The next one is for Son of a Bun. And if you recall, Son of a Bun has already been received approval for a location next to J Brothers for his mobile hot dog stand. He does dogs, burgers, and sausages. He's going to be on Vinegar Hills site on July 2nd from 2 to 6 and July 9th from 2 to 6. And he has paid his $40 fee for those 2-day events.
Motion by Jason to approve Son of a Bun for July 2 and July 9th, seconded by Phil. Any other discussion? All those in favor? One abstention. Tom abstention. Motion carries. Okay, next item on the agenda is approval of payable and payroll warrants. Motion by Velma. You second that? Seconded by Jason. All those in favor? Motion carries. Okay, I do have a card that I want to read. It says, to the Arundel Select Board and staff, please accept our sincere thank you for your for your kind words and also the beautiful plant dish. It was and will be a perfect memorial with such beauty and simplicity daily. With thanks and very warm regards, Julia and Keith Trefethen and family. Okay, let's have a discussion on Chip's comments.
I've seen the email. Let's go back and forth, Keith, but like, have you reached out to the town attorney to see, is there anything further that we're required to do now? I mean, Chip, I didn't realize that Chip was going to present us tonight some more supporting facts of what had happened. It seems like there is some legal issues there.
I don't, the last time I spoke to the attorney, we talked about the section in reference to alphabetical arguments on the ballot, which is certainly in the state law. But she, as well as MMA, didn't think it was a precedent to overturn the vote that was taken on in June. So there isn't much precedent for it statewide. And it's an issue that normally gets managed quite effectively. Unfortunately, in this case, it did not. I can assure you that when our proofs went to get the ballots done, they were done in the alphabetical order. I've checked them myself, so they were correct. For some reason, when they came back, they were opposite. So,
How about the second issue of absentee ballots, date, time, stamp?
I haven't spoken in great length about that with the town clerk, only to say that the last time I spoke to Simone about it, because she had been involved in this quite a while and had used a portion of these envelopes for a while, that we're going to replace all the envelopes and put date stamps on them and those, whatever is required by law.
So where do we go from here? I mean, my only concern was the date time stamps. I mean, I don't think anything was done wrong, but are we liable for anything because those didn't get checked for date and time?
I don't believe so. I would think that Mr. Bassett may have an argument if the vote was anything different than what the tabulation was initially from the vote that day. Both candidates had independent folks that were counting, that they invited to count for them on their behalf, and it came out exactly the way it was on the day of the vote.
So we're allowed to receive absentee ballots up till the day of the vote, correct?
Yeah, again, I do not want to get into specifics on the voting task that I'm not accustomed to providing opinions to you on. I don't know that much about it other than the general process of it.
Right. But those were counted the day of the voting. Those were not ballots that came in after voting that we counted. Those were all counted the day of the voting.
Absolutely.
So they could have come in, who knows when they come in, but they all, even though they weren't date time stamped correctly, they came in at a legal time.
Right. As I understand, generally what happens, the absentee ballots are here, the clerks take them out of the envelopes and feed them through the machine. So as they're doing other voting duties, they also do those. Okay.
So there is no, I don't even know how to word it, but so there is no option of not counting those 6 envelopes that weren't date, timed, and stamped. Like, that's not an option. So let's say all 6 of those were for Chip's opponent. Are they legally accepted through the voting machine, even though they weren't date, time stamped, or are those thrown out?
No, the envelopes are just date stamped. The ballots themselves are the same ballots that anybody would get.
But are you legally allowed to accept them where they don't have a date and time? I don't know how that works. I don't know.
I don't know enough about that. I've expressed to Mr. Bassett if he feels he has a an issue that needs to be addressed by a court, that he's more than, that would be his option.
Any other comments from the board? Hearing none. Looking for a motion to adjourn at 7:39 PM. Second. Motion by Jason, seconded by Phil. Any other comments? Discussion? All those in favor? We are adjourned 7:39 PM.